So episode 12 ended with this massive key battle between Goku and Beerus, and the universe was on the brink of destruction. And at the beginning of episode 13, the universe is not destroyed. Big surprise. Elder Kaiyoshi says that once the key battle is concluded, then the universe will be destroyed. But it doesn't really make sense because we still see the big rippling shockwaves passing over the entire universe. I thought that was supposed to be what was going to destroy everything. So already we're getting some inconsistency with the rules and how this whole thing works. Also, something strange about this key battle is that it looks completely different from how it looked in the last episode. In episode 12, Beerus launched a swirling ball of ki, Goku was pushing it back with a massive Kamehameha, and they were just kind of at a standstill. In this episode, the ball of ki and the giant Kamehameha have been replaced with this swirling ball of energy that's arcing lightning, and the two are just kind of pushing it back and forth, and it looks weird. Elder Kaiyoshi said that they've created this high-density ki, but it's never really explained how, and we never get to see it created. It looked one way in one episode and a different way in the next. Another thing worth noting about this ki battle is it's fucking boring! Like, this goes on for half the episode. And before anyone tells me, well, big massive ki battles are a staple of the Dragon Ball franchise. Clearly, you're not a real fan. Or something stupid along the same lines. Yes! Ki battles are a staple of the franchise, and usually they're really cool, even when they take up half an episode. In fact, two of the series' most iconic moments, the ki battle between Goku and Vegeta, and the ki battle between Cell and Gohan, are fucking legendary. But there's a reason why those worked and this one didn't. First off is presentation. In the two battles I mentioned from DBZ, we see the earth shaking, the ground crumbling beneath them, people around the world feeling the violent shockwaves from their energy, and we see our characters, just the strain that they're under. We see these two massive beams colliding, and the camera's violently shaking to convey the amount of energy that they're forcing back. Simply put, they really sell the scene. Here, instead of massive beams, it's this teeny weeny little ball of energy that they're just kind of pushing back and forth. Instead of the earth violently shaking, things are kind of getting busted up, and we see these slow rippling shockwave across the universe. I mean, yeah, that conveys that they're messing with massive power, but it doesn't sell it. It doesn't feel destructive, and it just lacks a lot of the tension. Even between Goku and Beerus, yeah, they look like they're straining, but nowhere near as much as, say, the characters were in those other two ki battles from DBZ. Another reason why this ki battle was a disappointment is the end result, what it was all building up to. By the end of the ki battle between Goku and Vegeta, Goku is beaten, torn apart, can barely stand. Vegeta is more pissed off than ever, and this leads him to go to his Uzaru form. It completely raises the stakes of the battle. Gohan versus Cell, it was the big climactic showdown, where Gohan finally has overcome Cell, taking him out. Here it's the catalyst for Beerus to use 100% of his power. And the way the ki battle ends is he just cancels it out, which is really anticlimactic. You know, Goku just kind of looks at it and I'm like, what the fuck was that shit? And as a viewer, I'm like, yeah, what the fuck was that shit? It was a big build-up to no payoff. So yeah, Dragon Ball Super Episode 13, worst ki battle ever. Now the first half of this episode isn't a complete waste. There is some great cutaway scenes with Mr. Satan. Yes, Mr. Satan is a saving grace for this sequence. We see him looking at Videl, panicked, worried for her, and him basically just pleading with Whis to make it all stop. Trying to bargain with him in a comedic Mr. Satan fashion, but one that's still very touching and heartwarming. We see a very human side of Mr. Satan, and one that I really appreciate seeing because it's one we don't see very often. Now, an emotional scene that didn't really work for me, though, was Gohan busting out of the ship to try and protect Videl. Which really didn't make sense because doesn't Gohan not have any ki left? Didn't he say he couldn't fly? And was he in his ultimate form when he did that? I mean, you could say, you know, blah blah power of love, but still, it was kind of a dumb scene. I mean, I get that you want to convey that he's worried about Videl, but instead they could have just shown him in the ship, looking on, realizing just how helpless he is to protect his wife. Instead of the overly dramatic busting out of the ship and trying to protect her, which made no goddamn sense. So the first episode of this battle was boring-ass ki battle, but this episode is definitely salvaged by the second half, which is Beerus and Goku just duking it out at full power. And I really enjoyed this part. The animation on display was fairly solid, the animation director was Yamamuro, the director for Fukatsu no F, and this really shows because just like in Fukatsu no F, the characters are using actual martial arts. And I really liked seeing that. That was pretty damn cool. Now, for those wondering how they could be fighting at full force and not completely destroying the universe, Elder Kaiyoshi explains that the reason the universe wasn't destroyed is that now it's just a fight. Now it's just a fight. You know, I really didn't expect this whole universe-destroying feat to carry over into future episodes. It was gonna be something that was gonna be brushed over and just really not acknowledged. I really didn't expect it to be the very next episode. So all of that talk about the universe being destroyed last episode is fucking pointless. You can argue that last episode was about displaying feats, but what the hell's the point of displaying feats if the feats don't matter from here on out? Now that entire episode just feels like goddamn padding. Now, just like in Battle of Gods, Goku loses his Super Saiyan God form. Unlike Battle of Gods though, he goes straight to SS1 instead of his base form, which I like a lot more, because it made no fucking sense in Battle of Gods when Goku was able to duke it out with Beers in his base goddamn form, then go SS1, which is a 50 times multiplier, and yet he was just still on par? And Goku does state that in his SS1 form, he doesn't feel like he's lost any power. He is just as strong now as he was when he was 100% SS God. So that gives us a good idea of where Goku actually sits in power now. Also, it's stated that everyone else can feel Goku's ki again, which means that he does not actually have God ki anymore. Like, I mean, it's probably still within him, but he is not using God ki anymore. He is just using his normal everyday ki, which is nice that they cleared that up because Battle of Gods didn't do a really good job of conveying that. Something I'm not cool with is they're still in space. I was fine with God Goku being in space. Normal Goku shouldn't be able to survive in space. But whatever, it was a plot hole in Battle of Gods, it's a plot hole here. I'm not gonna fucking bitch about it too much. And finally, this episode ends with Goku and Beers just duking it out, full power, like they were before, except Goku is now in his SS1 form. And I'm really curious to know how this is gonna play out in this version. Like, is Goku just gonna puss out and be like, nope, you're stronger than me, Beers, I can't beat you, and leave it at that? Or will this end in a slightly different fashion? Also, will Goku use anything other than SS1? Because if he doesn't, that's bullshit. Yeah, I know Toriyama said that SS1 is more stable and reliable. SS3 is still 8 times stronger. So if he's even remotely close to Beer's power, if Goku just popped SS3 for a minute, he should be able to just grab Beers and break him like a fucking twig. But I doubt they're gonna go that route. I'm gonna cross my fingers and hope so, but I'm a little worried it's gonna go the Battle of Gods route and have Goku puss out without actually going full 100% on Beers. And that sums up my review for episode 13. The first half was shit, the second half was pretty fucking cool. Overall, it was alright. And honestly, that's all I really wanted the last episode to be. But no, it was fucking garbage. And apparently a lot of fucking people disagree with me because it's my most disliked review so far. But honestly, fuck those guys, who cares? But yeah, like I said, it was just a decent middle-of-the-road episode, and that's all I was really asking for. So I can say I am satisfied, but that's fine with me. Zeon, out. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you just want to hear my thoughts on other random things, feel free to follow me on Twitter. And if you want to ask me really retarded questions, feel free to hit me up on my Ask FM.